The growth strategy is international growth, David. What was it about Gett's UK optionality here that you liked?
So it is the big guy when it comes to London's black cabs. And London's black cabs are awesome. I suspect, Carolyn, you've taken one or two in your life. And you know they're amazing, right? So it's the best way to get around London. And that's the idea, is we are a customer-obsessed company. We wanted to make sure that we could increase our footprint in London. This roughly doubles the size of our rides in London, which is wonderful. And I think something like 75 to 80% of London cabs who have an app are going to have access to Lyft customers over time. So it's a great win-win.
Now, David, you know, I think the best way to get around any city is to bike. And I'm pleased that you're also doing the bike optionality, the Santander bikes you have in London. Just what does this mean in terms of capital intensiveness? What does this mean in terms of investment you need to make in these new cities?
Yeah, so it's not a very big capital raise. I mean, the nice thing about the sort of, let's say, traditional rideshare business, the one that we're in, is we don't own a lot of assets, right? The London cabbies own their own cars. So really what this does is it allows cabbies, taxi cab drivers, who are, as you know, brilliant, to sort of make even more of their time, right? They're going to have more customers thanks to the Lyft app and our promotion of the Gett by Lyft app. So anyway, that'll be great. They also have a big business-to-business audience. They actually do work with the BBC. They do work with The Economist. They do work with the Royal Albert Hall. So they've got a really nice, stable base that we can build on. And then as mobility changes over time, becomes more autonomous and so forth, it just gives us a bigger footprint in the UK.
I want to understand, David, how this works in practice. In Western Europe, the taxi cab is part of the culture. And in London, of all places, the black cab is at the heart of what it is to be a Londoner or a visitor to that city. So how does the consumer respond to a big American tech company coming in and bringing a brand like Gett into its fold?
I mean, I hope well, right? What we hope to do is bring the same customer obsession that we bring here every single day in North America, all across the world. As you guys know, we acquired FreeNow last year. They also have a significant presence in London, across all of Europe, really. And we've seen great growth with that brand and with our riders there because they're now seeing, an even better experience. So, look, that's our general strategy is, customer obsession is what drives profitable growth. And I just love, to your point, the fact that we're going to be with the London cab system in such a deep way, because it's frankly going to teach us something about great service. London cabbies are amazing in that way, and hopefully it'll allow us to bring even better technology and sort of invest more in the whole marketing of the idea of taking a taxi when you're in London.
David, you've joined us regularly on Bloomberg Tech, and you've been generous with your time in explaining how you've come into Lyft over now almost 3 years, I think, right, and put your print on it. The first part of the story was getting Lyft to be a cash flow positive. But you are in this kind of M&A strategy. And so could you just explain how going shopping and acquiring companies in different markets is going to impact the financial health of the business and free cash flow in particular?
For sure. So, yeah, it was actually my 3-year anniversary just last week, Ed. So 3 years
Congratulations.
now. And thank you. Loving every minute of it. Look, if you think of the stages, you're right. At first, we were losing money. We were losing cash. Now we're making money. We're profitable quarter after quarter after quarter. We're throwing off over $1 billion in cash. So what that allows us to do now is to grow through acquisition. Exactly to your point. We can take that cash and put it to use. How are we growing? We're growing largely internationally. Why? Because that improves our sort of footprint and over time improves our economics because this is a scale business. And then if you look at the next stage, of course, with self-driving cars, again, having a large footprint and having a large scale, frankly, is going to matter even more. So this is the sort of journey we're on. It's a step-by-step journey, but I love where we're going, and I love the fact that both our financial results and our customer results are improving every day as a result.
How does the profitability focus fit into the robo-taxi and autonomous focus? I mean, I can tell you black cabbies aren't going to love that in many ways, David.
Well, so I think you're talking about two things. I think you're right. Anytime you've got a big shift, you have a set of people who are, doing something today, and maybe they're worried they won't be doing that tomorrow. That's something we're very, very focused on in Lyft. I can give you a very specific example. We're now rolling out autonomous cars in Nashville with our partner Waymo over the course of this year. And we just announced that half of the employees in our very large new depot in in Nashville, are drivers. Half the employees are drivers, right? So part of it is we have to help that transition happen. When it comes to profitability, look, self-driving cars over time, frankly, should improve the economics of rideshare. It should lead to, because they don't have a lot of the costs. They don't have the same insurance costs and so forth. But that's going to take a long, long time. I think right now it's really kind of early days for that. We're just trying to figure out a way to kind of make the transition in a very, I hope, very thoughtful way.